Okay, we're recording. The following is the agenda for the regular council meeting of the Borough of Pompton Lakes Mayor and Council, a municipal corporation in the county of Passaic. The meeting will begin at 7:30 p.m. on April 12, 2023, in the municipal building, 25 Lenox Avenue, Pompton Lakes, New Jersey. Consistent with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, the meeting will be open for public comments and shall be in accordance with the terms and conditions of the borough's municipal code and bylaws.
Please stand for a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bless this mayor and council as they deliberate on the best of Pompton Lakes. I'm sorry, I have a little cold today. Also, just keep it in your remembrance, Councilman Kent's father passed away, and our superintendent's father passed away also this week, so keep them in your prayers. Thank you. In conformance with the Open Public Meeting Law, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting setting forth time, date, and place for the regular meeting through notice posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, mailed to all requested and paid for same, and published in the Suburban Trends.
Mayor Sarah.
Here.
Council President Polidori. Here. Councilman Cruz.
Here.
And Councilman Denny.
Here.
And this one? No, okay. Right? Okay.
Attorney's professional.
And Councilman Beggs excused?
Yes.
Councilman DeLine and Councilwoman Kent?
Yes.
Okay. With us this evening is our borough attorney, who will be filling in Ken Ruse, and our borough administrator, Paula Cosarelli.
Okay, thank you. Before we do a presentation, I just want to give everybody an update on our good friend Councilman Begg. He took a spill over the weekend, broke some bones. He's in the hospital. I went to visit him. His spirits are up. He seems to be doing well. He needs to get some rehab, so he's going to be going to get some rehab, and we wish him the best of luck. You know, he's been a vital person in this town well before he was even on council. He was on school board for many years. He was police chief. He was a police captain here for over 30 years, so he's really a Pompton Lakes born and bred kind of guy. So we wish him well. Hopefully we'll see him back real soon. Okay, I have a presentation, a proclamation. Whereas our children are the most valuable resource and will shape the future of the borough of Pompton Lakes. Childhood trauma, including abuse, neglect, is a serious problem affecting every segment of our community. Childhood trauma can have long psychological, emotional, and physical effects that last for victims of abuse. Protective factors are conditions that reduce and eliminate risk and promote the social, emotional, and developmental well-being of children. Whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the partnership created between child welfare professionals, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations. Communities must make every effort to promote programs and activities that build strong children and families. Whereas prevention remains the best defense of our children and families. Now, therefore, I, Michael Sarah, Mayor of the Borough of Pompton Lakes, in the County of Passaic, New Jersey, do hereby proclaim April 23rd as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the Borough of Pompton Lakes, and urge all my fellow residents to become involved in efforts at preventing our child from being abused. The Women's Club, which is a vital organization in our town, they're involved in so many things. They're always doing something to help the community. This is something they've pushed and asked for many years. We all support it 100%, so if you'd all like to come up, and I'd like to hand it. I know you're a member if you want to step up. Liz, you're a member if you want to come down. Good showing today, ladies. Thank you. Who wants the... Oh, thank you. Pinwheels up there.
Oh, Liz, I'm gonna take a picture. You're really cool.
They're all represented.
Nice try, Liz. All right, everybody. Good job.
Ladies, as always, I thank you for all the effort you put into Pompton Lakes. You really do a great job.
Thank you.
Okay, now's your chance to escape. If you'd like to stay for the whole meeting, you're more than welcome to stay, but now's the chance if you want to get out. There will be no presentation on redevelopment because we're missing some of our people here, so that'll be rescheduled into the future. Could I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments?
So moved.
Council President Polidori, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone from the public like to address? Look at these two waiting. Go ahead, you're first. Go ahead, come on up. Yeah, you can go first. Yeah, sure.
How you doing?
All right, how are you?
60 Howard Street, Pompton Lakes. Good evening. My condolences to the families that lost people, and Councilman Baker, I hope he's doing better. I came because of the update, that there was nothing on it that said it was canceled, it wasn't going to happen. However, because I saw that update notice, I've been researching the redevelopment meetings. And a lot of these meetings, where there was a place put on the website for documents of buildings that are going to be coming presentations, none of the documents are there except for Meridian. We've had 5 or 6 different people come before this board, and there's no documents. And I don't think that's a good thing because, like I said, I was hoping to hear an update tonight, and I could have been able to be informed. As I drive by the 525 building, which is on here tonight, it's on part of the agenda, I noticed that, the second floor has sliding windows, but there's no place for a deck. And then when I read the minutes, it said there was going to be bars across the windows. So, I don't know how that's going to look in the downtown, coming into town with bars on the windows. If there was drawings and I saw that, I might have came forward sooner. But I don't know what, your opinion of the drawing is with bars, but how come there's no drawings on the website? There's nothing on there except since Meridian. And I don't think that's good transparency to this town. So I would appreciate it if you could update the website. And another
Well,
thing.
let me just, before you jump to the next one, I agree with you, there should be more up there, but each organization is separate to update their own websites. The town doesn't update all the websites. I will reach out to the redevelopment agency and say, hey, look, you guys need to update what you're putting on the web. I know we're in the next week or two, we'll be passing a transparency ordinance. We'll be filming all those meetings live in the next month or two, so that should help greatly with a lot of this. But at the time that they're putting it up, I'll be honest, I haven't looked at their redevelopment page, so I don't know what it looks like.
No, but as I was stating, I went back, over the past 3 years. And, a few of the meetings concern me because the meeting starts at 7:30 and it ends at 7:45. And I don't know how you can conduct multi-million-dollar business in 15 minutes.
I don't think.
And then there's other meetings that do go 2 hours and 2.5 hours. I'm not saying all of them. But what I'm saying is, when there's no documents to back up what I'm looking at, that raises questions. And if it was there, if somebody had a concern such as second floor sliding glass windows, people, would be able to say something a long time ago.
Which project are you talking about?
It's the 525 building.
The 525?
Yeah, and there's sliding glass doors on the second floor, and we got the fire department on one side, you got Wanacue Ave on the other side. I'm sure there's gonna be no deck there.
No decks, but
Right.
let's remember that the fire
But
department signs off on this.
I understand that.
The engineers
But,
sign off on this.
however, maybe nobody raised the issue.
I don't remember, I don't recall.
Exactly, that's my point. If I would have saw the drawings, I might have said something. Other people have seen drawings and made a comment at the meetings when they were there. And like I said, it's, just something that should be uploaded. If there's a place for it, it should be there. You got Catini's project that was never put up there for people to look at.
Catini's project, there is no project.
No, well, there was a presentation.
Right.
So there was drawings
Let's get
presented to the
something
board,
straight.
is what my point was.
When there's projects that are presented, that doesn't mean they're projects, they're conceptuals.
Okay.
Conceptual plans don't go up on the.
But it said upcoming meeting documents.
Right,
So if
up-
there's a meeting on that blue water thing, that's still a meeting. So there's documents that go with it. As far
Yeah,
as
you'd
I
have
know.
to talk to the redevelopment agency and their attorney, I can't answer
No,
that.
I understand that. And I got.
But conceptuals don't usually go up on those.
Well,
It's only
it
the
says
signed plans.
upcoming meeting
Yeah, and
documents.
I'll find out for you, I don't have
So
the
to
answer.
me, that means any document that's in an upcoming meeting, And then since, a couple of years back, You know, I was involved in town a little bit. And I made it a point to keep coming in here and asking for the bid post minutes. And they haven't posted minutes since 2016, when I stopped coming to the meeting, when I got hit by a car. So, I mean, don't you think it's time for them to start posting their minutes again?
I agree with you, yes.
I'm just saying, there's nothing there since 2016.
And again,
How transparent is that when these people are controlling a large budget that you all approved?
We just approve it, but we don't spend it.
I understand that, but how do you approve it? Have you read their minutes?
Well, I go to meetings, but
Yeah, you go to all their meetings?
we tried it.
Right, well, okay, that's all I had to say,
Sure,
thanks.
thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? You had your hand up. You, Mr. Hinton.
Thank you. Randy Hinton, 443 Montclair Avenue. The attorney's not here. I don't know if.
We have an attorney here.
She's pretty too. I don't know if she's up on questions that we had at the last meeting on vacating Clary Hugh Lane. Has anything been brought up on that?
We're still doing some research on it, on where the property lines are and how things are working over there.
Okay.
But they are aware of it, yes.
Yes, all right. Another thing that I would like my attorney to look into.
Not your attorney.
Oh, no, it's our attorney?
Our.
The town
Better
attorney?
word.
Okay, thank you. Just recently with the Shade Tree Commission, I was out looking for spotted lanternflies in Hirschfield Park, and I was wandering through there, and I noticed that the baseball fields are now being renovated, ready for spring for the kids to play, and a lot of the football equipment down at Hirschfield was pushed into the woods. Now, I don't have a problem with that because Board of Education leases that property, but there was a lot of tall, dead trees in the woods that if they fell, they would have taken out the equipment. So I called Todd from Board of Education, and he came down and we met and we talked and I showed him the trees that were an issue. And I asked him, my question is for our attorney when he comes back, the lease agreement signed with the town to the Board of Education, maybe Mr. Cruz can also jump in on this. Todd did not know if in that lease agreement, Board of Education is responsible for maintenance of the property. Are they responsible for the trees?
I don't know. It's a good
Okay,
question, and I
well,
don't
this is
know.
something that the attorney would find out in the lease agreement. Todd did not know. I, from the Shade Tree Commission, did not know. And we have removed trees in Hirschfield Park before for the town and the Shade Tree Commission. But on this instance, being it was that close to all his equipment, he talked to Dr. A from the Board of Ed, and great guy, we all love Dr. A. And he said, yes, take care of it. We don't want to endanger any of the equipment and stuff. So he had Downs Tree Service come in, and then within a day, all that was rectified. But we just need, me and Todd both need to know what is in the lease agreement.
Yeah, we will
Are you
get that.
responsible, the town, for those trees, or is the Board of Education being there leasing the property?
Paul, could you just find
Yeah,
out about that?
I will. I'll take a look at that.
All right, and third thing was, we're setting up we did all the prunings today for Shade Tree Commission this week, and next week we're set to do our removals, but then trying to line up police for traffic control. I was told that the police are not available all next week,
The whole week?
all week, because they're out for training.
Oh, well, if they're out for training, yeah, there's nothing we can do.
Well, I was curious as to what kind of training.
They have mandatory training they have to take every certain amount of time. That they have to do. There's no way around it.
All the police officers.
Well, they cycle through all of them, yes.
Correct. And the training turns out to be boat training.
Okay, I didn't know what it was, but
I was just curious, how much is that training costing me, the taxpayer, and all us taxpayers?
I don't know on top of my head, Randy.
Okay. Just curious if I can get an answer for next council meeting. I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Please step up. I'm sorry. He's up, let him come up.
Thank you. Good evening, George Popol, 1104 Colfax Avenue. Here it is, another 30 days. Any feedback, any progress on getting the pipe fixed at 1102 Colfax Avenue? Is anyone looking at it? Is anyone planning? Is anyone scheduling?
We did, we were just talking about it in the office, and there is some movement on how it's going to work. Paula can probably update us better.
Yes, so, first of all, the only way any capital projects can get done is through the improvement of the municipal bond. So municipal bond will probably be introduced in May. And however, until such time, I need to get an engineering estimate out there and to see if in fact what it is. My understanding is that the manhole might be needing replacement as well as the outfall pipe. So I'm speaking to our engineer tomorrow with regard to replacement. As you know, this was studied by H2M, and at that time, they concluded that it didn't need to be replaced. However, at such time, it would likely fail in the future. It was evaluated again in 2019, and it'll be evaluated again this year.
Evaluations are great. When are you going to get some action going? You're telling me exactly what I've lived through is 12 years of waiting,
Okay, but
3 evaluations.
we're moving the way the channels that we have to move. That's the way.
You're going to have another evaluation?
We have to
Another
follow the
couple of
channels.
years?
We have to get an engineer involved. That's
It's
unfortunately.
great
that's
to
the way
study
is.
it, but when are you going to act? When are you going to put a shovel in the ground?
Well, there's a lot to do
When
there.
there's a reason to.
There was a reason to with HW too.
In your estimation.
No, not in my estimation, in their estimation. They had the whole plan out, and as a matter of fact, the administrator of the town said they were going to go forward. It turned out to be, he was disingenuous in his words.
Okay, so.
I've got that in writing.
I think that at this point, it's best to wait for the engineer. I've spoken to Mark, he has all the reports from H2M, he has the reports that his engineering firm did. Please know that the engineer that did evaluate it, our borough engineer for our engineering, that gentleman is currently ill and has been out of work for the past few years. This gentleman has come on board and is coming up to speed, and we will be discussing that and scheduling, because it's not just your property and the adjacent property that needs to be evaluated. There's another property in town as well that I would like to, if in fact it's deemed necessary, we need to put that in the bond.
And she is meeting with this person tomorrow, so there's movement here. Let's give us a little break here and see if we can get it done. I know you've been waiting a long time, I understand that.
My property's getting washed away every time there's a rainstorm. There's more damage,
Yeah,
there's more danger. Anytime my neighbor's sons walk across my property to go fishing, they're risking their lives. Brian has also spoken to you about that. What I can't understand is, what are you waiting for? Tragedy?
No, we have to have an engineer tell us what to do. We can't just do it ourselves. We just can't.
I didn't expect you to do it yourself.
So we have to get an engineer and tell us what he expects to happen.
3 studies and we're going for a 4th study.
I don't know
No,
about the
not a
3
study.
studies. This is not a study.
It'll
What do you call an evaluation?
Engineering evaluation to determine if corrective action is needed. At the time of the last report, it was indicating that it appears as though the outfall pipe and manhole may fail. When that determination is made, we don't know. However, we're not going to wait for it to fail, Mr. Pompo.
There is no manhole, and the pipe has already failed.
My
You have photographs of that,
There
miss.
was some kind of a manhole on the property.
There's a storm drain that goes a certain length, and the rest of the pipe has already collapsed and failed. And
Okay.
that's been known for 7, 8 years.
Paula, you'll be taking a ride over there tomorrow, correct?
Mayor, no, we're just going to talk about it. I'm going to schedule a ride because I need to schedule other locations
Okay.
with our engineer. It's not just this location we
Okay.
need to evaluate.
Okay,
I'll be back, thank you.
thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Judy Braddard from 21 Albert Street, Pompton Lakes. I'm part of the Women's Club, and our thing that we came today was for the proclamation for child abuse. And I've had concerns for a couple of years. I know maybe this is not where I should voice my thing, but I want you to help me help our children. I believe that the schools should have some kind of metal detectors. You know, I think Pompton Lakes is pretty safe, but you never know when that odd thing's going to happen, somebody bring a knife in the schools or whatever. I know the high school students are very generous in letting other people in at the open doors when they're going out for lunch. I just really, and I've been buzzed in for my grandchildren to go to a certain door. However, I could say whoever I wanted to say I am to see whoever I wanted to see. This was several years ago, but I'm just stating, I assume that it's still the same. And I know I heard it's cost a lot of money to have the metal detectors put in the schools. However, I feel our children are so precious that they need this extra safety to keep them safe, and that's it.
I think in the next month or two, you're going to be hearing some big changes when it comes to
Okay.
security at the schools. I'll let the school decide how it's going to happen, but I've been in conversation with the superintendent, and they're expecting some big changes over there.
Because I just think anybody
And
can
Bob,
take
if you
a
wanna
kitchen
add
knife out, and put it in their thing and whatever. Okay, thank you for hearing me.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't think you covered it on this one.
Anyone else from the public like to address? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion.
Councilman Vennin, Council President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion to approve the following minutes. Regular meeting minutes, March 22nd. Closed session meeting minutes, March 22nd. Have a motion.
Motion. Second.
Motion, Councilman Vennin, Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Consent agenda. Anybody need anything removed? Nope. Okay, Liz, whenever you're ready.
Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Pompton Lakes have reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions, whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Pompton Lakes does not desire to remove resolutions for individual action from that agenda, now therefore be it resolved that the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved. Resolution 23-99 through 23-111.
Okay, motion to approve the resolutions.
Motion.
Councilman Vennin. Got a second?
Second.
Councilman Cruz, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, for first readings.
For first reading. This ordinance will be presented for second reading and final adoption on April 26th. Ordinance 23-14, an ordinance providing for various capital improvements for purposes to be undertaken in and by the Borough of Pompton Lakes in the County of Passaic, New Jersey, and appropriating $88,600 therefore from monies in the Capital Improvements Fund of the Borough.
Okay, this is just to move some money from one area for our police cars to another. But Paula, if you'd like to add anything.
Sure, it's just a matter of the borough leases, its police and DPW vehicles. And those vehicles are considered capital expenditures. So it's about taking the monies away from an operating budget and placing them in capital.
Thank you. Motion to approve ordinance 2314 for introduction.
Motion.
Council President Polidori.
Second.
Councilman Vennin. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Councilman Venn.
Yes.
Ordinance for second reading and final adoption, they've all been advertised and posted. Ordinance 23-11, an ordinance authorizing the execution and recording of the encroachment easement agreement with 525 Wanacue Avenue Associates LLC.
This is just to verify that we have the rights, meets and bounds for our firehouse. That kind of was off when we went to 525. It wasn't correct, so we're correcting that. Motion to open the meeting for public comments on ordinance 2311.
Motion.
Councilman Vennin. Councilman Cruz. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone like to address just this ordinance? Seeing no one, motion to close the meeting for public comments on ordinance 23-11.
So moved.
Council President Polidori.
Second.
Councilman Vennin. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion to approve ordinance 2311 for final adoption.
Motion.
Councilman Vennin. Councilman Cruz. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Councilman Venn.
Yes.
Ordinance 23-12, an ordinance authorizing the execution and recording of the access easement agreement for egress with 525 Wanacue Ave.
Doing basically the same thing we just mentioned. Motion to open the meeting for public comments on ordinance 23-12.
Motion.
Councilman Vennin. Second.
Second.
Councilman Cruz. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone from the public like to address just this ordinance 23-12? Seeing no one, motion to close the meeting for public comments on ordinance 23-12.
So moved.
Council President Polidori.
Second.
Councilman Vennin. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Against? Motion to approve ordinance 23-12 for final adoption.
Motion.
Councilman Vennin, Council President Polidori. Roll call, please.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Councilman Venn.
Yes. Excuse me.
Ordinance 23-13, an ordinance of the Borough of Pompton Lakes, State of New Jersey, to amend and supplement Chapter 14 entitled Refuse and Recycling, Article 2 of the Municipal Code of the Borough of Pompton Lakes.
Motion to open the meeting for public comments on ordinance 23-13.
So moved.
Council President Polidori. Second.
Second.
Councilman Bennett, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone like to address just this ordinance, 23-13? Please step up.
Lisa Kilberg, 158 Mountainside Drive. Can you just tell me what exactly it's for, the ordinance?
Okay, Paula, you want to just...
Sure. So that ordinance is specifically set aside, right now in Pompton Lakes, the grass clippings are cut and leaf, I believe is
Oh, okay.
what it is, mulching. But for certain residents that are currently receiving a property deduction, these are our folks who are disabled.
Oh, okay,
veterans.
this is the one that's been talked about over the
Right.
past
Yes.
month or two. Okay,
Yep.
okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is to help our residents that can't maybe get the grass themselves to the DPW. Motion to close the meeting for public, sorry, anybody else? Motion to close the meeting for public comments on ordinance 23-13.
So moved.
Second. Council President Polidori, Councilman Cruz, all in favor? Aye. Against? Motion to approve ordinance 23-13 for final adoption.
So moved.
Council President Polidori. Second.
Second.
Councilman Bennett, roll call, please.
Councilman Cruz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Polidori.
Yes.
Councilman Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Denise. Okay, under my report, today, I had a meeting with our new Congressman Pasquale, and some of the people who've been in town a while. Remember, we had him years ago, and he is a friend of Pompton. He remembers Pompton. He did get us a nice streetscape grant years ago. So myself and a bunch of mayors met to discuss federal funding that will be coming down the pipeline to see how we can take advantage of that. I asked the question about security. Security in schools with police officers is a big concern right now, and the federal government, I was hoping, would have some money to support that. He said right now they're working on something, it's not out yet, but hopefully they hope to see something come down the line with that. The other thing that was nice to see is we are redistricting, so I'm with a bunch of mayors that I'm not used to being with, and I got to sit with the mayor of Oakland, which is the first time I've actually met her, and we're, neighbors, and we started talking. So we're actually going to get together one day next week just to discuss some of the concerns that we share together, being two towns that touch each other. So in all the years I've been involved, Oakland has always been in a different district, so we never bumped heads with each other. So it was nice to sit with her and talk with her. I performed 3 weddings. I attended the Easter egg hunt, which I'm always amazed at. The rec department does a great job with that. We had well over 300 kids. It was a beautiful day. The Easter Bunny was there, lots of residents, lots of people, and everybody left with a smile and a lot of candy. And I'm happy to announce that they finally moved on to chocolate in the candy instead of just soft candies. So I was very excited to see actual Snickers and things on the floor that the kids could eat. I also attended a Vietnam Veterans Memorial with, I think, Council President Polidori. A nice ceremony that they just started in the last couple of years, well attended. It's always good to honor our soldiers, and, as we all know, they had a rough time when they came back from that war, and now they're getting the representation they should have gotten when they got back, and I think this is what that ceremony is about, to identify the fact that they put their lives on the line even during that war for us. And, back when it happened, maybe that didn't come across when they came back. So it was well-deserved, a nice ceremony, and I thanked all the groups involved, especially the Elks, for having a nice little lunch after that. And that is my report. Council President Polidori.
Thank you. I also attended the Vietnam ceremony, which was lovely, so thank you to the Marine Corps Lakeland Detachment for putting that together. Also attended a the first in a long time, community citizen appreciation dinner, which honored 2 residents in our community that go above and beyond in their volunteerism. The event was a fundraiser for a new scholarship being brought to the high school for Dr. Amoroso to identify a student in the school that exhibits those same qualities in our community at a junior level. We were able to raise enough money at this dinner to fund a $1,000 scholarship this year, and there was some additional funding left over to make a donation on behalf of both of this year's recipients, Karen Murphy and Michael Fasalutos, to the St. Mary's Explorers Group and our own First Aid Squad. So it was an honor to host that event, and I look forward to doing it again next year. I also coordinate the speakers for our Rotary lunches, and this month we had Carly Boniello come in. She is a doctor of pharmacology, and she discussed the benefit and usage of supplements. So far this year, we've also had Chief Clark and Officer Dan Cottrell come in to speak about protecting your home, and our own Walter Gosson from Pompton Lakes First Aid Squad, and we do have someone coming in from the fire department next month. So if we have residents in the community that feel they have something that they would like to share with Rotary for a committee that they represent, please reach out to me, because we're always looking for monthly speakers. I drove down to Lebanon today to the NJ Forestry pickup for the saplings, once again, along with Shade Tree Commissioner Randy Hinton and Councilwoman Kent, who is not here with us tonight. We will be distributing the saplings to the third grade students in Lincoln and Lenox School. So I have them. I'm going to try to keep them alive for 2 weeks, unless you want to take them from me. I also, for this month, being that it is Financial Literacy Month, started reading at the library to 4th, 5th, and 6th graders every Wednesday afternoon, age-appropriate financial literacy books. So this week we had a little less kids than last week because it is spring break, but I had some repeat customers and they seemed very excited to hear the stories and they had a lot of questions. So I look forward to the next 2 weeks. I have a few more books lined up for the rest of the month. And I want to thank Paula and the DPW for working so quickly with me on the ordinance for recycling. It was important. It is important that we assist our members of the community that need a little extra help when it comes to moving things out of their yard, and I know that was asked for and expedited quickly. And as the mayor mentioned, back to the transparency ordinance, I know there's been some going back and forth. It's been a few months now. We are in line to have this approved and on for first reading at the next meeting? Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that too. And that is my report.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Cruz, you have some motions there?
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing new to report from the Board of Ed meeting. I just want to provide some additional information for Judy. So Judy, they did form a student safety committee, okay, to address and assess kind of the security in place and the safety measures that they have in the schools today. And from that meeting, they came out with 4 high-level categories that they need to look at and address. And this is the current communication systems, building access, physical security of the school facilities, emergency procedures and protocols, and preventative measures in student services. Now, this is all going to take time. Obviously, as you mentioned, there is funding that goes associated with this. But I know as far as the start of the 23-24 school year, they're looking to have security in all the schools at this point. But we're waiting to hear more information from the superintendent. You can, not yet, right, because it's public meeting. Next public session, you can come up, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. All right, so I have 2 motions tonight. Let me just get to them. Okay, first motion to approve request for Cub Scout Pack 88 to close Hirschfield Park Place between Ramapo Avenue and Arcadia Road from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the Soapbox Derby, scheduled for Saturday, May 20th, 2023, with a rain date of Sunday, May 21st, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pompton Lakes, Riverdale First Aid, not on duty. Police to assist with traffic control, traffic cones and barricades. Board of Education confirmed no events or activities are scheduled at Hirschfield. Notify police, fire, first aid. Can I get a motion, please?
Can I have a second? Second. Councilman Bennett, all in favor?
Aye.
Against, okay.
Next motion to approve request for Lakeside Middle School to close a portion of Lakeside Avenue from Van Avenue to Mandeville Street for the 8th grade award ceremony scheduled for Thursday, June 15th, 2023. Rain dates, June 16th, 2023, and June 19th, 2023, from 6:15 to 8:30 p.m. and to make Van Avenue between Lakeside Avenue and Lenox Avenue a one-way street from 6 to 8:30 p.m. All in favor?
You're
Motion?
first. I need a second.
Second? Sorry about
Council
that.
President Polidori, all in favor?
Aye.
Against. I can't believe we're talking about graduation already. It's crazy.
Lila's there too, Mayor. Yeah.
Okay, that's it?
That's it. I'm done there.
Councilman Bennett.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to congratulate the Mr. Napa and his team for the Pompton Lakes High School musical Footloose. They had 3 or 4 showings, and it was very successful, and they did a great job. Riverdale celebrated 100 years. Attended their gala a couple weekends ago. It was only last week. They had over 500 attendees. It was very well attended. I was over at the castle in Pompton Plains. I want to thank Erin Shazat. She suggested we use reusable water bottles. I remembered last minute, so that was a good idea, Erin. Thank you. Girl Scout Camporee 2023 signups are in progress. So if you're a Girl Scout leader, check your emails and make sure you sign up. And lastly, trails maintenance. The next one is Saturday, May 13th, starting at 10 a.m. We meet at the Willow Field back parking lot. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Kent, are you ready or not?
I'm ready. I'm sorry. Sorry I'm late. I wanted to give my report. I had a death in the family, then I'm trying to get some photos together and can't find anything in my house. So, anyway, so I just want to just make, the first report that I'm going to give is from the Shade Tree Commission. I was remiss in giving my Shade Tree Commission report the last time, and it was pointed out to me, and correctly so, so this will be your first on the list, Randy. They received their 15-year recognition award for Tree City USA, and we're very proud of our commissioners and their hard work. But most important, we're very proud of our beautiful tree-lined streets and our open space areas that enjoy all of those trees, and all who love the shade and the beauty of nature. So I want to thank the commission for all their hard work. The Shade Tree Commission will be holding a 5th grade Arbor Day essay contest through the grammar schools, Lincoln and Lenox School. And this year there will be, we anticipate 3 winners, and there will be 3 awards given out here at the council meeting on May 10th.
That's been changed.
Oh, it has been changed?
Yes,
Well, did they respond back?
they haven't responded
Okay.
back, but I did reach out to them. We need to change that.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, the date will change, but the essay will continue on.
Yes.
Okay, just the awards, okay. And we're very excited to hear, the children come to the meeting and they read their essays, and then they get a really nice a gift from the Shade Tree Commissioners, and it's very, very nice evening. Shade Tree also started pruning and removing the dangerous branches and the trees as designated on the list. So they're in that full force now. Our DPW, I'm sure Council President mentioned that we got a new water bottle filler.
I actually forgot.
Oh, my, okay.
Anyway.
Yes, okay. So last year, the council purchased a water bottle refiller and fountain for both parks, for Lakeside Park and for Hirschfield Park. Lakeside Park went in last year, and because we had a problem with the water line leaking, they couldn't put the one in Hirschfield Park last year. So Dan and the DPW crew, along with the MUA folks, the crew there, they got the water bottle filler in. So now when the kids go to the park, they can bring their water bottle, just like Councilman Bennon just said. They can bring the water bottle and they can fill it rather than just, keep going to the drinking fountain. And it's a wonderful way to save on plastic and to reuse your, and to still drink water and replenish and hydrate. And again, a special thank you to the Municipal Utilities Authority and their crew for assisting in the installation of that unit. This week, please check your calendars. We start brush, branches, and leaf collection, and because that will affect your date of when you put your garbage out. Our Recreation Commission, of course, is in full force with their spring and summer programs. And they are on the website and the social media site, but I'll just read you a few. We have the Teen Dance on Monday, April 17th, and Monday, May 15th at the VFW. And then on June 5th, the 5th grade graduation dance will be just for the 5th graders, and all of the dances start at 7, they end at 8:30. The cost is $5, and they get a DJ, snacks, games, and trivia. Summer camp counselors, Mayor, did you mention that?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Summer camp counselors, their interview dates are April 29th and Tuesday, May 2nd at the Civic Center from 6:30 to 8:30. So if you want to be camp counselor, please reach out ASAP. Pompton Day meetings are scheduled for April 19th at 7 at the Pompton Lakes Bid Coalition office. come and join the Pompton Day Committee. They're a lot of fun, and they could use help with social media, marketing, sponsorship, or just getting involved with the very special day that we have here. And, Pompton Day has fireworks, 5K run, fishing derby, kayak race, the WWE wrestlers, and there's licenses for, I guess we have the Pompton, we have a raffle for, what was that raffle?
The duck raffle.
The duck raffle, right. And and then the food vendors and all that, all those forms are coming in as we speak. The paddle boats and kayaks are opening up on Memorial Day, and they're gonna have ping pong down at Lakeside Park, so bring your friends, stop and play, and enjoy the boating. And again, the Recreation Commission, although they did not meet in March, that's because they were resting from the huge successful Easter egg hunt at Hirschfield Park on this past March 26th. I believe over 300 children participated. It was a lot of fun. There was candy, cookies, snacks, goodies, and they were all hunted down by the children. And after filling their baskets with the goodies, there was a photo session with the Easter Bunny, IEEB, and you can take, and then Karen Murphy and Steve, one of her family members, took beautiful pictures, and then there was 100 and some pictures taken, and they are online. And everyone enjoyed watching EB getting out of the antique fire truck. So we also want to thank the fire department for cooperating with with bringing the Easter Bunny to Pompton Lakes. Women's Club also had an Easter breakfast, and that was a wonderful event. And again, Easter Bunny came to greet the children and took photos with lots of breakfast foods. And I think there was another Easter breakfast.
Knights of Columbus did one. Very busy Easter Bunny this year.
I'm telling you, he's all over the place. On May 7th, our townwide river cleanup, it's coming up, and we're loading up with prizes and gifts and fun for everyone. Since we had over 100 volunteers last year, we're expecting to even have more this year. We have t-shirts and canvas tote bags. They were all donated by the Columbia Savings Bank. We're very, very grateful to have Columbia Savings Bank and the industries like them, because they also send their employees to work on the lakes and the open spaces and the downtown cleanup areas. So they do a lot of work, and we're very grateful to have them. In addition, I attended the bid meeting, and they have agreed to donate $500 worth of bid bucks to the prizes for the cleanup projects. So that's like getting, that's us getting cash for coming out to clean up for 2 hours. That's a pretty good deal. And just so you know, if you're thinking of doing it, you don't have to just clean up a park. You can clean up any place that's near your home. If you're not happy with a street, it's dirty, and come sign up, and then you go and clean up, and then you come back, and then we have refreshments and a lot of fun. So I look forward to seeing you. Our flood advisory board, I attended. I had to leave early on that meeting, but we have a very active flood board as usual. Nothing's changed on that. We're also been invited to a Rutgers Cooperative Education Service Zoom meeting regarding flooding and property buyouts, and I believe, Mayor, you're going to be on that call tomorrow. I'm going to try to make that call at least for a half an hour or so if I can get in there. And that's very important, because they're going to explain some about the buyouts and what's available. Okay. And I believe that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you, and we passed our condolences to your husband.
Oh, thank you.
In the beginning, but I just want to let him know we're all thinking.
Yeah, he appreciates that very much. Thank you.
Okay. Professional report. Do you have any reports?
I do not.
You do not. Okay. Minister's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Last year, PSE&G did some gas main replacement before the end of the year. And because it was, I believe they did the work in November, and they wanted to come by and repave and everything, and it was decided upon conversation with myself and DPW and the engineer that it was important to allow the ground to settle more, and we didn't want paving to occur in the colder temperatures to have more of an inferior finished product. So we asked PSE&G to put that off until this year. So I just want the folks to know that their street is going to be done, and the streets that will be done this year, I'm supposed to be here from PSE&G for a pre-con meeting but we're dealing with Adrian Street, Cedar Ave, Magnolia Ave, Maple Ave, Woodlawn Ave, and Willow. So those roads will be paved from center line to curb. PSG has an interesting formula they use. They get out, if we were gonna pave another one of their streets, part of our road program, then they would pave one of these streets curb to curb. Unfortunately, it didn't line up. I tried to line that up, and I'm still trying to work with them to do curb to curb for some of the smaller roadways, but in any event, that's a work in progress. I also just want to say, like I had said, we're in the process of putting together our capital projects, and I just want to let everyone know that, the borough is very active in pursuing grants. So this way, we don't have to borrow money at the expense of everyone in this room. So we've received, and we're going to do curb cuts in various locations. Was a grant authorized in 2021 where the borough received $60,000 for curb cuts on Howard Street and Poplar, Walnut, and then also Lakeside Ave from Ramapo to Schuyler. We got another $58,000 for those curb cuts. Those curb cuts are required to make them ADA accessible crosswalks for pedestrians. Also, we received, we're going to be receiving $100,000. I haven't gotten official word, but I'm sure it'll come through. $100,000 for the paving of Hirschfield Street. So that's good. And then just as a refresher, we're going to be doing the second phase of Lincoln Ave, and the borough received $440,700 for that project, DOT monies. And just in today, we received, last year, the borough applied for Dawes Highway and Maple Ave Road, and I just received notification from the state that the borough will be receiving $231,170 for that as well. So we're continuing to move forward. We have some other grants in the fire, so hopefully we'll get some positive news on that. We're going to continue forward with fixing up our infrastructure and continuing to make our town look as good as it can be.
And one of the discussions today with the congressman, actually, a lot of the mayors are upset about the PSE&G and how the paving process goes on.
Yeah.
And the argument is they're using taxpayer dollars to make a profit to respond back with only half a paving job. Because they are a business at the end of the day that makes a profit. So they would like the Congress to put some more pressure throughout the country that they should be paving curb to curb. So we'll see where that goes. I mean, it's one of my pet peeves. We'll have a brand new road that we paved, and they come in and they dig it up and they patch it up, and they ruin a brand new road that we just did.
Yep.
So it becomes a real problem with that.
Moratorium roads, they have to pave curb to curb, and a moratorium road is a road that's been paved within the past 5 years. For some reason, they seem to pick that.
And I know some residents have been calling me about Riverdale. Now, remember, Riverdale's in a different county, so they have a different paving schedule, but they're putting in sewer, so that's why they're paving in there now. So that those roads have been a little bumpy the last couple months. They will be repaving a lot of Riverdale in the next couple months. Any questions for the administration?
Yes, a couple of meetings ago, we had a resident come in Riverdale Road and Beach about the street lamp that was out. Was that the
That was
police?
reported to the dispatch, and it's still.
I just got one. I got a call today, same thing. It goes on the
still
list.
out? All right, so let me remind them of that, because that was reported immediately to dispatch.
I drove by last night, it was flickering, it was on, but it was dim, so.
Okay.
I have one in the
What
office.
was that, Councilman? Riverdale?
Riverdale Road and Beach.
Okay.
And I think I have Lake and Riverdale Road, but I have to check. I'll give it to you too. Sometimes the lights are ours, then we're responsible, and sometimes they're Jersey Central. And when they're Jersey Central, they go on a list, unfortunately, and they get to it when they get to it. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yeah.
Jason Eckert, one of the police officers, brought up the fact that there's some problems with the meters, that they're crooked. And I brought this up to Paula. Maybe you could give us an update on that.
Yes, so I spoke to Dan and I spoke about that. There's a lot of meters that are crooked, and he's concerned about the original installation of these meters. So I'm going to be talking to, again, I'm having a meeting with our engineer tomorrow on the phone. We're thinking about replacing those meters with apps so people can just pay from their phone to look at. Because if we're going to go through the whole project, because these meters are going to have to be dug up, this is going to be a capital project. They're going to have to be dug up, the pavers have to be removed, they have to be put back in the ground and supported by cement or something. They were not, Dan was explaining to me, they're only put in a depth of about that much when they really should have been put in a little deeper, which has allowed for the movement of these meters, and there's like 30 of them.
Well, let's talk to the bid also, see if they're willing to,
And there has to be a conversation, so that's something we're gonna have to talk about with regard to replacing those meters either with, and I was gonna reach out to the pay station folks for the pond hall to see what the cost would be to just replace all those meters with, meters that don't take coins, Google Pay, credit card, Apple Pay.
we'd have to be careful with that. There's some people that don't use that kind of thing.
Okay,
So-
probably on the street.
Yeah, on the street, it's a little more difficult. I mean, I like the thinking of it, it's just we have to be careful how we think about it. that's all.
Okay, so this is just, and right now, I don't even know the condition of these meters, if they need total replacement, or we're just talking about needing to be installed.
So I spoke with Dan a little bit. The parts we have for the meters, that's through Jason, but like you said, a lot of the poles are damaged, and that's where the cost is gonna be, the poles themselves.
And it's gonna have to be, Dan believes that it'll be over the bid limit, so we're gonna have to bid that out, because each of these, and it's probably gonna have to be hand dug, because you're also dealing with utility lines underneath there.
Oh, yeah.
So, this is a job that is gonna take some time.
And it was done during our last streetscape, which was 15, 16 years ago. That's when they were put in.
Okay, so maybe it's time to look at these meters, reevaluate, because this is something we need to think about now. If I'm gonna put, my plans are to put this as one of our capital projects. Because it's something that's needed. They're jamming, people cannot put the money in the meter, they're breaking, it's taking up a lot of staff time, fixing, going back and forth.
And we know
Something
that,
that needs to be addressed.
and we all know that the pond hole will be having meters put in relatively short, hopefully the next couple months.
Yes.
And there'll be credit cards, no coins, and that'll be for pond hole parking in the back. So we're starting to move in the right direction.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Nope. Okay. Can I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments?
So moved.
Council President Polidori. Have a second? Second. Councilman Cruz. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anyone from the public like to address?
Lisa Gilbert, 158 Mountainside Drive. First, I just have a question about the meters. Do they generate that much money?
They do.
They do.
They do.
You get about $35,000 a year in revenue.
Wow. I mean, I would just be concerned, like you said, about, elderly people who don't use
No, I
credit
get
cards
you,
or
yeah.
debit cards, and on the street at least.
Right. No, I appreciate the input because I don't.
And my other question is about the garbage throughout the center of town. I know last meeting when it was discussed, a woman brought it up, and I myself have seen a lot of garbage in the center of town. And even on the way here, there's bags of garbage. It's Wednesday. They don't pick up until Friday, and there's garbage on top of the garbage can. It's already piled up. My question is there any sort of ordinance that makes it so they can't place garbage at the curb until like the night before?
6 o'clock the night before, they can do a pickup. The problem we have is, and I've talked to the bid, I spoke to the attorneys, we can't make just one part of the community put their garbage in the back, so they're allowed to put their garbage up front. But if they're putting it out early, we can go after them. The problem is we have to identify who's doing that. Okay, so we have to see the physical person put it out, and
Well-
that becomes where the problem is.
Well, do we have to see the physical person
Yes.
put it out? Because if they're tenants, right, they have a landlord. So if the building owner, I think maybe
But
mean,
you don't
nobody
know,
likes to get
you don't know if
fined.
it comes from that building, it could have come across the street. You don't have to put it in front of your building.
Well, I would think that people aren't walking
That's
3
not-
blocks with a bag of
We
garbage.
got lots of people dropping garbage off in the streets.
But the problem is, well, this has been an ongoing problem for years, and it doesn't seem to be getting
It's a very
solved.
difficult problem.
So I guess, and I was just thinking that if we could at least start with the building owners, because no one likes to be fined. So if you said, well, you're going to be responsible for
They're
your
not gonna win,
tenants.
we're not gonna win that lawsuit, because they're gonna say, I didn't put it there. Unless you have proof, I didn't put it there.
Well, if they receive a ticket, don't they go to court? And then that would be for the judge to decide.
Yeah, but then we have to pay the costs for that not to go through, and it costs us money.
I was just trying to think of a solution, something that would make it, because nothing's deterring anyone from doing that.
The problem is you have tenants upstairs who should be using their own garbage cans. They should not be using town garbage cans. But saying that, we can restrict no one from using a town garbage can. The right thing is to say, you put your garbage in your own can. But I can't stop you from putting garbage in the garbage can if you want to do that. And that's where you see the buildups and the piles. And then I agree with you, it looks horrible. It's not a good thing.
It really does look horrible. I mean, I saw a scale.
Yeah.
Now, it was, from a business in town. It sat outside for 6 days. I counted every day I passed it, on the sidewalk. I mean, and people see that, and it doesn't look, who wants to shop here
I
if it
agree.
looks like that?
We've
I'm
put
just trying to
cameras
think-
up, we've tried cameras, with the DPW, moving them around on different poles, because that's the only way we can identify who's dumping. But then we then have to follow that person. Now, if they just walk into a store, we can go in there, but if they walk down the street, we actually have people who don't work downtown, who drive by, get out of their car, dump their garbage, and keep moving wherever they're going.
That's horrible. But I was just thinking that if you know what I mean, if you could isolate it and then, I mean, cameras sounds great in theory, but you'd have to have somebody watching them
Yeah.
all of the time, because you can't really tell who it is once you're,
No.
all right, I'll just keep thinking.
But if you see somebody doing it, call the police.
I'll probably be chasing those, if they're carrying a toilet or something,
Yeah, exactly.
Chase them down. Thank you.
Thank you. You step up.
Get up a little slower these days. First of all, my family, your family, I offer you condolences.
Thank you. Thanks,
Your
Ed.
family.
Thank you.
What I wanted to bring up was, what I was talking about before with the documents being uploaded. How many documents did we see of conceptuals of Meridian that were uploaded onto that site?
I don't know.
I saw a lot.
Did they put them up? I don't know.
No, I don't want to cause an argument.
No.
But what I was trying to do is just, I wouldn't want to see that not happen now because I brought it up, you know what I mean? And as far as paving, I called up, there's a lot of potholes on Walnut Street, there's potholes on Howard Street. Now, Howard Street, you're gonna put handicap curbs in at the corners or whatever,
It'll be paid.
It's gonna be paved through.
but we have no curbs on that street at all. There's curbs on the middle island, but there's no curbs that coming down by the houses at all. It says it on the tax map that it's curbed, but it's only curbed around the middle island.
That is true.
There's no curbs on that street.
There is no
by the
curbs on the
sidewalk.
street itself.
Absolutely not. So
Yeah,
that's
a
an
good point.
undertaking that may be a little bigger than you thought. But another thing is, when you
there's-
brought up capital improvement money, has the 2023 budget been adopted yet?
Not yet, no.
No? How about capital improvement projects that are either completed or abandoned? Where when I was the finance chair, I found $225,000 sitting in there that could fix Mr. Popoff's pipe. I know there's money sitting in cookie jars somewhere, because you can transfer money to do a lease. We took money as a council and used it for brick pointing, and it was for the Lincoln Avenue project. So, and it was done 15 years ago. So I know some places, there's probably some money that can be found. I know you don't want to use it unless it's a rainy day fund, but on situations like this where the guy's coming in and he's been complaining for 12 years, it's time to fix the problem. And I congratulate you all on doing the CRS program. You know, everybody who filled out that paperwork, you crossed your I's, you dotted your T's. But I would be a little concerned because we get points for taking dirt out of a catch basin, but I'm sure we don't get any points for filling in the floodway. And I see a lot of filling going on someplace, and I'm sure other people have seen it too.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Yes, Tom?
Paul Wolby, 120 Romaine Ave.
I know Wanacue Ave is not a town road, but we really need another crosswalk over by, between where Colfax and Wanacue meet. You're a frequent visitor, as I am, to the Cardinal Cafe. That whole stretch from the corner there all the way down to the railroad tracks. People are zipping. I'm surprised nobody's ever gotten hit yet. People are doing a pretty good job of stopping for people in the crosswalks, but I did see somebody yelling the other day about somebody, guy was yelling, "Hey, you gotta stop, there's a pedestrian." It's like, but you're in the middle of the street, you know, you can't expect the cars to stop every time somebody steps out from behind the car. How does you go about getting a...
We have to reach out to the county, and they have to do their studies and things and come out and take a
Like I
look.
said, just a thought, there's a lot of foot traffic.
There is, you're right. I can reach out to the county and see if they'll help us.
Between the Cardinal and the Wells Fargo Bank and the bakery and Fleischer's and all that kind of stuff, lots of folks back and forth. I just hate to see somebody get hit by a car there.
We had a kid get hit on a bicycle 2 years ago. I remember.
Just a thought.
I'll reach out. Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Please, just a minute.
Thank you, Dennis Kilmer, 158 Mountainside Drive. It's about the school safety. I know you guys got something in the works.
Wait, I should stop you there. We don't have anything in the
Well,
works.
Board of Ed has something in the works, sorry. It comes with the Board of Ed. There's a program out there, it's called Go to Green. It's fairly new, Bobby, if you want to look it up. It's a directional evacuation system where they actually put acoustic, like shot spotters inside the schools, and it will direct children and staff away from where the gunfire is coming from. And when the police get there, it directs them to where it's coming from. So it's a program that maybe you could look into. It's nobody has it in the state of New Jersey.
Really? Nobody
Is the
has.
website gotogreen.com?
Let me see.
I'm gonna ask Bobby to bring it to the school board.
Yeah, go to green.org.
Oh, .org.
So it's an interesting program.
No, thank you. No, of course.
It's just that
Absolutely.
I don't know how much it costs, I'm sure there's but you know,
There's always a cost.
you can't put really a
Right.
price on
I'll
life,
mention that at the
especially
next Board of
children.
Ed meeting.
So if you want to, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Forward it to them.
I'll mention that their board meeting is next week, next Tuesday. I'll bring it up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address?
I just wait for your head to turn. Randy Hitton, 443 Montclair Avenue. Last meeting, you had a closed session.
Okay.
And then in that closed session, you were supposed to be talking about the curb ordinance. Did anything else come on that? I mean, the last discussion we had with Councilman Deline, he was talking on a case-by-case basis.
I think that's the way we're moving forward with it, a case-by-case basis.
But the attorney had said that we really has to look into it, because the case-by-case basis is not fair.
We haven't looked into it, with the attorney hasn't spoken to me about it yet, so I don't know if I still, do you know anything?
I
about
can
it?
get an update from him and relay it within at least a week,
Okay,
or have an answer to you in a week.
all right, so at the next meeting, he should have an
Hopefully, yes.
update on that? Okay, thank you. The little things in town is what really adds to the beauty of Pompton Lakes. And I just want to say right now from the Shade Tree Commission and the trees that we planted, the cherries, a lot of the trees are blooming and really looks nice, a lot of the trees throughout town. And also want to give a special thanks to Councilman Bennett. The years that he's been planting daffodils, it really shows now, and the town is really looking nice, and I just want to say thank you.
And I had a resident come, I forgot to mention the Councilman Bennett, I had a resident come up to me with a good idea about having a daffodil festival.
Say what?
A daffodil festival around this time.
Interesting. But I just want to make mention of that. I mean, the town is really starting to look nice. A lot of the trees are flowering, not only the cherries, there's other blooming trees, and it's starting to look nice. Hirschfield Park is looking nice with the trees blooming, so just want to mention that. Also, we volunteered, me and the mayor, addling goose eggs. And right now, it's, we don't have a lot of geese eggs to add on.
That's a good thing.
So it's through the years that we've been doing this, has been reducing the goose population, and it's really starting to show.
And if you go back when we first started, how many eggs were we getting in those first?
We were way over 100.
100 each,
Yeah.
a person. Now we're down to, I think you got 6 the last
I
time.
got 6 the other day.
Yeah, that's
Seen
a
any other test,
big
so
difference.
It's really working in the long run. Just another question, open space meeting, are we having one tomorrow?
I'm waiting to hear back from everybody. Well, it looks like we are, but I haven't heard back from everybody.
Okay, so there's a good chance.
Good chance, yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to address? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public session? Council President Polidori,
Second?
Councilwoman Kent, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Privilege of the floor. Any privilege of the floor?
I just want to thank the ladies from the Women Club for the pinwheels for the Child Abuse Prevention Month. I'm very proud to be the vice president of the club, and I'm very proud of the ladies and all that they've done. And this is just one of the many, many, many things that they do every month on so many different occasions with so many different organizations and for town. I want to thank you. Sorry I missed my picture, but that's okay.
And just the turnout that showed up for the picture is impressive. So, you know, I've always said they're one of the clubs that quietly do what they have to do, and they do everything they do every month, so it's always good to see volunteers.
They do it humbly.
Yes,
Really
they do.
Humble,
They do.
very humble.
Anyone else?
Speaking of volunteers, so
Yes.
the 10,000 bulbs I didn't plant myself, volunteers planted most of them.
Yes.
So.
I thought you just dumped them in one big hole and we just had.
That was your idea, yes,
yeah.
when I first got the first 1,000.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Council President Polidori, Councilman Bennett, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.